So you've had your baby, and you may have been told by your midwife, your health visitor or your doctor that you have a DRA or a divarication or separation of the abdominal muscles. So it's got lots and lots of different words and connotations out there. Lots of different professionals use different words. I generally abbreviate it to DRA. It's still a divarication. It's still talking about this abdominal wall. Now, what is it exactly? Now, contrary to popular belief, people think that only a certain percentage of ladies get this during pregnancy. The truth is, 100% of ladies get this in pregnancy. It has to happen. Your baby is growing, which means your abdominal muscles need to separate to accommodate that growing baby. However, what then happens is, post giving birth to this baby, some ladies pop back together straight away. Other ladies, it takes a little bit longer for those muscles to knit back together, and in some cases those muscles may never knit back together. So what does this mean if you have got a DRA? So a DRA is the top line of muscles. So these are basically your six pack. Okay, so your rectus abdominals, they are the muscle tissue that separates. Okay, and then we've got to work on getting that whole corset area strong again to support your back. Now, if you have got a divarication, it's important that we get your core strong again. Okay, so that is working on things like your transverse abdominals, your pelvic floor, your glutes. Your pelvic floor is no good if your glutes aren't firing. Your TVA is no good if your back muscles aren't strong and your obliques aren't strong as well. So it's about looking at the whole kind of package. So when I deal with somebody who's got a divarication, I don't just look at the tummy muscles. I don't just work here. I'll look at the posture. I'll look at how they carry themselves. I'll look at where the shoulders are, where they've got tightness. I'll look at their nutrition as well. So what you eat and what you drink and what you're putting into your body will either help or hinder your recovery from a divarication, from a DRA, diastasis recti abdominals. So it's really important that we look at the whole picture. But let's come back to DRA and what is it and what can you do to help? Okay, so a DRA, like I said, it's the rectus abdominals which separate. So the linea alba down here basically gets weakened, and in some cases you can do a little check. So to be able to check, you just have to come onto your back, place your fingers along the center of the abdominal wall, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, nod your chin to your chest and just bring up the head and shoulders. And then you can just literally self-check, bringing your fingers down along the linea alba and then coming back down. So make sure that you check above the belly button and also below the belly button as well, and that will let you know. Now, when it's classified as a divarication, is generally if it's 2 fingers wide. Some people may end up with a gap which is about a finger and a half wide. Some people will end up with a gap which is 4 fingers wide, and I've worked with ladies that have had both, and it's still the same kind of technique that we use. We have to look at your breathing pattern. Are you breathing into your abdominals when you are exhaling? If you are, you've got to think we breathe 85,000 times in a day. So if you are breathing into your abdominals, we need to correct that breath. So we always start with the breathing. Once we've got the breathing, we then connect with the TVA. I look at doing some releases at the rest of the body so that the posture is now in alignment, so we're not pushing onto that intra-abdominal wall. So any pressure that you're putting onto the abdominal wall is obviously going to hinder your recovery. So when you're exercising, this is why doing full sit-ups is no good. You don't want to do any twisting motion. So this even kind of transfers itself to your everyday life. If you've got your little one in your little basket beside your bed and you're reaching over in the night to feed them and bring them back into bed, whether that's bottle or breast, you reach over and bring them back, you are twisting and taking that tissue away from one another. Anything that's going to load the abdominal wall too much, again, you don't want to do. So you don't want to be holding your breath when you're exercising. You want to be exhaling on the exertion phase, which means if you're lifting something, as you lift it away from the ground, that's when you exhale, trying to draw that abdominal wall in. Okay, there's loads and loads of tips. I could keep going on about this for a very, very long time, but the main thing to know is DRA is the separation of the abdominal wall. What you can do to help is look at your nutrition, look at your breathing, strengthen your core, make sure the whole girdle area is working, your pelvic floor is strong, your glutes are working. Look at your posture, make sure that we are releasing and engaging other muscles in the body as well. There's loads that you can do, or you can come and see an expert like myself, somebody who specializes in this, or seek out my online program, my Postnatal 360, which also goes into detail about this as well. But DRA is separation of the abdominal wall. There's loads that you can do to help, but like I said, it's not just a one-stop shop. You need to look at the whole symbiosis there: the breathing, the nutrition, the stretching, the posture, and the exertion phase as well. I hope that helps.